Today, I'm going to talk about all the new companies getting their Halloween stuff. Costco, Sam's Club, and Menards. I'm going to talk about those three companies. I'm going to go over all their animatronics. So yeah, let's get on to it. Hey guys, it's Epic Ira Haunts. Today we will be talking about three major stores in the Halloween industry, such as Sam's Club, Costco, and Menards. So, without further ado, let's get on to it, shall we?
Step closer. The cauldron remembers every face it sees. And yours might be my favorite today.
The first company we're going to talk about is Sam's Club, and right here being the Spinning Cauldron Witch, which this thing isn't bad, but I will admit I do like its animation, but yeah, this thing's just alright. I would not get this thing at all. I mean, it's a little expensive. I do like the way the cauldron looks, but this thing is retailing for $170, which isn't that bad. I mean, if you're a Sam's Club member, you get pretty good deals, but yeah, anyways, I'm just not a big fan of this starring Cauldron Witch, and if you are, that's okay. I'm not going to judge you. Anyways, let's move on to the next prop.
I'm the fastest cloud on one wheel. Come catch my act. It's quite a big deal. Step in close. You're just in time. It's my moment to shine.
The next prop from Sam's I'm going to talk about is probably the weakest of Sam's Club's lineup this year, this being the unicycle clown. Now, I will admit one thing that's cool. This thing is 7 feet tall. That's the only thing that's good. This thing does not look like Halloween at all. Just looks like a generic clown just riding a unicycle, which I'm not a big fan of. Now we're going to talk about this thing's price. The unicycle clown from Sam's retails for $200, which is pretty steep considering, well, I guess it's not bad for the way it moves the pedals like that. So, yeah, this thing's just really bad. I will not be seen getting this thing. So anyways, let's move on to the next prop.
At long last, the moment has arrived. The shadows are closing in. It is too late for you now. There will be no escape.
Coming in up next is the 10-foot Reaper skeleton from Sam's, of course. This thing is alright. I do like the color changing in its ribs. It is one of the better props of this year, but it's still not really my favorite, and I will not get this thing. Even if I had a Sam's Club membership, I wouldn't get this thing. It is cool that it is 10 feet tall, and this thing, now we're going to talk about its price. This Skeleton Reaper 10-footer retails for $230, which isn't bad for a 10-footer at all, but I'm just not going to get this thing. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the next prop.
Go on, introduce yourself.
I hardly need an introduction. All eyes are drawn to my light.
Oh, but they are dying to meet you.
Well, I am light, bewitched, and completely irresistible.
You're too mesmerizing for your own good.
Mesmerizing and wicked, right down to my glow.
The next Sam's Club prop I'm going to be talking about is the 8.5-foot witch, which I'm not a big fan of this prop at all. I mean, I do like its concept. The crystal ball actually talks back to her, which is a really cool feature, but yeah, this thing's just alright. I will admit, I do like its base. It has like a 12-footer looking base, which is really cool. This thing's 8.5 feet tall, and that's also another plus for it, but I'm just not a big fan of this prop at all, and we're just going to talk about its price now. This 8.5-foot standing lit witch costs $200, which is not bad for this thing being 8.5 feet tall, but yeah, I'm just not gonna get it. It's not, these Sam's Club prices aren't bad. It's just they're not, the props themselves aren't that good. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna move on to the next prop.
I see everything from up here. No matter where you hide, there is nowhere to disappear.
The next Sam's Club prop we're going to talk about is this 11-foot scarecrow with lanterns as hands. That's not his official name, but this thing looks really good. I do like how the LCDs are not the typical LCDs. They're just like pixelated kind of. I think that makes him look kind of cool. But I'm not a big fan of this, but I will say the price is kind of worth it for this thing being 11 feet tall. This thing is only $200, which isn't bad at all if you're a member of Sam's Club, of course, and you can actually buy this thing. But last year was still really good because I like their Violin Reaper. But yeah, this Scarecrow's still pretty cool. I don't really have much to say about him because not my kind of prop. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to move on to the next prop. Now we're saving the best for last from Sam's Club, and this right here I can't show a video because this thing relies on Bluetooth. Like it doesn't have pre-recorded phrases or anything, but this is the Bluetooth Skeleton Pirate. This thing is really freaking cool. I do really like it. It's servo, which, you guys know I love my servos, but this prop is probably the best from Sam's Club, but I do have the one flaw that it relies on Bluetooth, and you can't just it doesn't have pre-recorded phrases. But other than that, this thing is really freaking perfect, and its price of only $180. This thing is an amazing price, but yeah, the Bluetooth's just kind of a minor thing, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next company, actually. Moving on to Costco, I'm going to talk about one of their returning props, this being the giant skeleton groundbreaker with LCDs. I'm sorry I didn't make a video on Costco last year, but this thing's cool. I do really like it. And this thing actually has audio, which is really cool too. It's just rattles, but with LCD eyes. But yeah, this thing's all right. I mean, its price, if you buy it in stores, I think is like $260, and then if you buy it online without a membership, this thing's like $360. So it is kind of a expensive thing, but Rattles was going to be was originally $400, and then they dropped into $300, which was good. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this skeleton guy because he came out last year. But anyways, let's move on to the next prop. Coming in at Costco's other prop, this technically came out last year, but I think it only did in the United Kingdom. It's in the Americas this year. This is a 7.5-foot Frankenstein's monster. I used to really be a big fan of this thing, but I have seen the LCD eyes one too many times. I do like the way it looks with the LCD eyes. I'm just tired of them. I mean, we see them so much that they've kind of just been ruined and played out at this point. So, yeah. Now, we're going to talk about his price. Online, if you're not a member, he retails for $205. Really fair price. And if you get him at Costco, he retails for $180, which is a really good deal for him being 7.5 foot tall and having all that movement. But, yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next prop. Coming in at the next Costco prop is the 7.3 foot gargoyle. Now, I have a lot of flaws with this thing. It is made by a new company, Forever Gifts, and this thing doesn't look like a gargoyle at all. It reminds me more of a werewolf with wings or a griffin than a gargoyle. I will admit, it is huge. It's over 7 foot, so we'll give it that. And its animation's just pretty basic gargoyle movement, but yeah, its audio's fine, but this thing's just not really my thing. And now we're going to talk about its price. This thing online, if you don't have a membership, this thing retails for $350. And if you do have a membership, this thing retails at the store for $180, which big price difference right there. But anyways, I'm not a big fan of this gargoyle. We're going to move on to the next prop. The next prop we're going to talk about is another returning one from last year, but I didn't talk about him last year, and he's returning this year, so why the hell not I talk about him? This is the 5 foot that goes up to 6.8 foot Rising Reaper from Costco. This thing is really freaking cool. It is one on the more affordable side of props at Costco, but this thing is really freaking cool, and I do like this thing. Big Lots is selling it this year, which I will do a tour at Big Lots if I go. So you can see this. Hopefully they'll have this thing set up so you can see it in action. I would really like to see this thing in action. Now we're going to talk about the Rising Reaper's price. The Rising Reaper retails online this year for $130, and he's online only this year, so we won't see his price in stores. So I only have to tell you his online price. But that is a really fair deal for $130 for this thing getting so big. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the next prop. The next prop that has came to America this year, but also came out last year, is the 10-foot Jack Skellington with zero. It doesn't have any movement, so I'm not showing you a video. It just has lights and sounds, which it is pretty cool. I will admit, it's just, I'm not a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and this thing is overpriced as hell. This thing, now we're going to talk about the 10-foot Jacks with zero's price. This thing retails for $380 on the website, and it's online only. But if you have a membership card, I'm sure you could discount it. But this thing's just not my favorite, and I will not be picking this thing up this season. But yes, anyways, let's move on to the next prop. Once again, kicking off the best for last from Costco, we have the freaking Vampire Butler, made by Seasonal Visions International and sold by Costco for the 2026 season. This thing is freaking amazing. I love this thing. We actually had no idea this thing was coming out. It just kind of came out of nowhere, but this thing is really freaking cool. I actually ordered one of these for myself. And in this video, for some reason, the candelabra arm's not moving, and his mouth is also supposed to move, and his body's supposed to turn, but yeah. I do like his keys, too. He has like 3 different keys, which is really cool. A pumpkin, a ghost, and a skull. But this thing is definitely my favorite of the Costco lineup this year. Maybe one of my favorites of the whole year. But now we're going to talk about the Vampire Butler's price. The Vampire Butler retails at stores for $200. But if you buy him online, like I did, because I don't have a membership, this guy costs $215. Still a really good deal, and definitely recommend picking him up. But anyways, that's it for Costco.
I glide in the silence between heartbeats, and yours are slowing.
Alright, the first prop from Menards I'm going to talk about is this 10-foot floating Reaper. This thing's face is atrocious. Its audio is also god-awful. I mean, it looks like a Sunstar head, like Spooky Guy said, and this thing just, its voice sounds terrible. I hate the way its voice sounds, and it is cool how, the animation is cool, I will give it that, but its scythe looks stupid. Everything about this thing looks just really stupid about it, but yeah, now we're going to talk about this thing's price. This thing, after the rebate, retails for $330, but originally was $370. So definitely don't recommend this thing. I hate this thing. Anyways, let's move on. The next prop we're going to talk about is Embers 2.0, or as Menards calls it, the Bad Seed Groundbreaker. This thing is just a repaint of Embers, just orange instead of Embers having a black body. But I do like this thing. I do like any pumpkin groundbreaker except the at-home ones. Those are kind of god-awful. But yeah, this pumpkin groundbreaker is not bad. It's not as bad as some of the off-brand rattles and stuff we see, but it could be better, and this thing's just all right. Now we're going to talk about its price. The Bad Seed Groundbreaker retailed for $220, the same exact price as Embers did back in 2024 when he came out. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the Bad Seed Groundbreaker. Let's move on to the next prop.
Oh, how wonderful. Welcome to my haunted domain. Your cheerful presence shall forever remain. Tonight, the spirits' dances are filled with glee, exploring places they'd like to be. Fear not, little ones, for you and I.
The next prop we're going to talk about from Menards is this floating witch, which I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big witch fan in general. I do like how the broom has those lights on it, or is that just in the background? I don't know. But this thing's all right. It's better than the Grandin Road one, definitely, and it's a lot less expensive. So, yeah. Now we're going to talk about this witch's price. The floating witch from Menards retails for, after rebate, $266, and before rebate was a $300 prop, which, to say it's huge, I will admit, but it's not $300 cool. I'm not a big witch fan either, so don't count on me, because I'll hate on a lot of witch props. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the next prop.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Halloween all around you. Now, who doesn't love that? Well, hoo-hoo to you too. Harvest time is finally here. All my pumpkin pals have ripened up and are ready to get homes of their own.
The next prop, after hearing his audio, is probably my favorite of the new props this year. This is the Pumpkin Guide. He is a really cool prop. I do really love his goofy audio and his puns, but yeah, this guy's just really cool. I've never heard his audio until just now, but this is a really cool animatronic. Now, he has very simple animation, which isn't always a bad thing. I mean, his price is pretty good. He's 5 foot tall, and now his price. After rebate, this thing retails for $170, and before rebate, he was $190. $190 is a little much, but after the rebate, he's a pretty good deal. So yeah, that's the Pumpkin Guide. Anyways, let's move on to the next prop. The next prop is Menards' version of Rattles. This thing is, I just looked at its price and its size. This thing is gigantic. It's 11.5 foot wide, so I guess that justifies its price a little more, but before rebate, this thing cost $300, and after it cost $266, so way more than the Embers, so I assume it's a lot bigger than the Embers, but yeah, this thing's just all right. I'm not picking it up because I don't really have a Menards near me, but I wouldn't buy it online. But yeah, this skeleton groundbreaker, we've just seen too many of them at this point. Morris's looks really good. It looks just like Rattles, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next prop.
Welcome to my stylish haunted home. I can't take all the credit for its trendy appeal. The maniacal banshee in the closet deserves some praise. Please come in and stay a while. Watch out for my spider collection. I let them out for a little exercise. If you wouldn't mind, please help me get them back in their box. I do enjoy a good game of hide and seek, but it's been devilishly difficult to find somewhere large enough to hide. Do you mind throwing a blanket over me?
The next prop we're going to talk about is Menards' version, or Menards bought it, or whatever, of the 8 foot skelly that's been coming out for years. In 2024, or 2021 or 2, we got this thing from Morris Costumes, which is it's pretty cool, but like, it's okay. And then Best Buy got it with the LCDs. This one just has weird screen eyes, but I'm not a big fan of this skeleton. It does scream classic Halloween, but yeah. Now we're going to talk about its price. This thing retails originally for $269.99 or $270, and then after rebate, retails for $244 or something like $240, something like that. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the next prop. The next prop I'm going to talk about is Menards' return of the 12-foot Wendigo. SVI's giant that has been returning to some Halloween companies for years now. Originally coming out for Party City 2023 and then came out last year for Menards and Halloween Costumes. He's become an icon, kind of. But he's just alright in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the Wendigo props, but yeah, if you like him, you like him. He's more of a cryptid prop, but now we're going to talk about his price. Though a 12-foot Wendigo after rebate was $355 and before rebate was $400, so he was kind of expensive, but he was originally $500 at Party City, so yeah, let's move on.
There you are. Come closer. I've been stalking you for some time. Be careful passing through, or you will be lost in my fields forever.
The next and final prop I'm talking about is another return from last year. This is Bad Seed. This guy's pretty cool. I do like him. He was one of my favorites from Menards last year, but the one thing I have problems with is that his proportions are really weird. But yeah. Now we're going to talk about, I mean, I love his hands because they remind me of Nightmare Harvester because they're the same mold, but now we're going to talk about his price. Bad Seed originally retailed for $350, and then after the sale was $250, and then after the rebate from the sale price was $222, which isn't bad, but I know that was really confusing. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Bad Seed. I love him. Now let's end it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe down below and like the video. So I will have the links for most of these props down in the description below. So check it out. Goodbye, peace out, depending on how many I can fit in the description. So goodbye.